Welcome to the shed. My name is Charissa Drengsen, and I'm an artist, a writer, and an overall lunatic. Hey, Melissa. Great to see you. Um, yeah, so this is my first broadcast. I'm going to share some creative recovery ritual practices that I use. I'm going to talk about the way that I use Tarot in recovery and uh, just going to get a little feet wet by being live here on Substack. So I've gathered together some basics that I keep around in my shed. Um, some little tea light candles, which these happen to be beeswax. I love the smell of beeswax. Um, Wooden matches, which I prefer because I'm an anachronist. Uh, in a little ceramic hippie jar that I use to strike them on. Um, I have some walnut ink, some creek water that I gathered in my hometown of Glen Ellen, Calabasas Creek, a little mortar and pestle to crush herbs, an herbal blend that I've made, some little Chinese calligraphy brushes, just little basic pieces to do the rituals as I've created them. And then here's some hand pressed um, cotton and linen paper, which I love the feel of. It's so substantial. Um, then I'll show you, I've got so I've been making tarot cards for over 15 years now. The first deck that I designed was the Steampunk Tarot. And I did it sort of as a challenge and just shared it with a few people. And then it kind of went viral. And it began as insults about the deck, which I thought was funny, about the shitty paper it was made on and the terrible packaging. But someone complaining about it from Germany made the deck sell really well. So I was like, yeah, any advertising is good advertising. So um, I've sold several thousand of these decks over the years, and um, people tell me that it works really well for them, people who read tarot sort of officially. So I don't consider myself to be a true believer of tarot in that I think most people consider tarot to be some way of telling the future. I think some people think it makes the future happen, That's not my experience. And I don't use it in that way. I really love images, I love stories, and I love archetypes. And the tarot architecture is this really, I feel, deep architecture that helps to access the subconscious and to play in the realm of the unknown. And I use it like that for more personal insight, if I'm struggling with something or um, trying to get deeper into something, I will often use a tarot reading to spark some exploration for myself or to take me in a new direction. So this is the Steampunk Tarot, the first one that I made. Later on, I decided to get sort of more lighthearted about it. I made the lame hype tarot, which is super offensive. They're both created through digital collage, and the lame hype is extremely rude, saucy, and not to be taken seriously at all. Um, Instead of full, it has the fuckwit. So that's just a taste of what's in the deck. This one's the ones that's selling right now the most. I think it's a time where we all need to not take things too terribly seriously, and maybe this is a way to do that. Uh, then during COVID, I spent some time living back in my hometown and getting to really reside in my mother's garden again and getting reconnected with botanicals. And I became inspired to create a new deck that isn't based on the traditional Tarot architecture. It's based on the symbolic meanings and the uses of different botanicals, and that's called the Luna Botanica. And this is a poker sized version of it that I'm currently printing. um, I've been working with this deck that I created. It's an oracle deck, but it's been a really complex system that I've sort of been working with and trying to figure out how to use it. And as a result of doing it, I started to um, create this practice where I use botanicals in this way that I used to use in recovery of doing ritual at my altar. Sometimes I would do ritual out in nature. I still do that. But over the years of working with others and having to adapt to different environments, I've pared it way down. And I really wanted to create something that could be used in a daily practice without too much rigmarole. And so the deck stands in for when I can't get my hands on materials, and then I use it as a guide for when I want to work with botanicals in a specific way related to something that I'm working through. Um, they all have guidebooks. Here's the current version of the Luna Botanica guidebook, and anybody can use them that way. Um, what I've been doing most recently is journaling as the way to work with them. And what I like about doing this is that it gives me a place to write out my thoughts, to sort of track changes that are going on, and to do sort of more in depth stuff. I can sketch. Sometimes I'll draw bright, happy pictures. Sometimes it's just writing and little sketches. Sometimes it looks like my brain has thrown up on the page. um, but all of this has been towards finding ways to work in recovery and stay connected to myself, connected to nature, no matter where I am, right? A walk in the woods or a walk at the beach can really quiet my mind and soothe my soul. Um, but when I can't get out, like during COVID, a lot of us, were sort of stuck in one place. I wanted something that I could put my hands on, and this is developed out of that. So today, I made a new workshop to offer today at this live event. And I've been working with a framework that is all about um, identity development, right? Because um, in recovery, uh, the most common theme that shows up for myself and other people that I've worked with is that once we're sober, once we're awake, walking around the world, we all just sort of encounter these gaps, right? And for a long time, I thought, oh, I'm broken, right? And I think a lot of people think that about themselves. But what I've come to understand is that I'm just missing pieces, due to gaps in my childhood or gaps because I was drinking during key times in my life. Um, and so I just didn't like mature in that way or get that skill, right? And the great benefit of being able to see it that way is recognizing that it's never too late to begin to heal a place that might be problematic in my daily life. Um, and it's never too late to try something new and learn a new skill, which is exciting. If you ever have regrets, or if you ever think, oh, shoulda, woulda, coulda, um, and I turned 60 this year, and I love being able to be at this age and recognize that I can still figure out how to do something in a different way. Um, so that's what this offering is for. And this one is for a developmental gap that may have emerged around age 3, the imagination. And I picked it because in the wheel of the year, if you start with 0 at the beginning of spring, then and you divide the wheel of the year into 26 sections, uh, today we would be inside of year 3. So that was the random framework that I picked. I'm just going to read part of this, and then I'm going to show the ritual of what to do with it. So this one's called Becoming Through Playfulness. And I begin to imagine who I could be. So in 12-step recovery, there's a well known guideline, Rule 62. Don't take yourself too damn seriously. Alongside it, you often hear, your mind is a bad neighborhood. You don't want to go in there alone. Both phrases point to a real truth. The mind, left unchecked, can become rigid, distorted, and isolating. But in the framework of identity development, there's another truth that runs just as deep. Imagination is not optional. Imagination is the mechanism through which possibility enters the self. It's how we try on identities, envision futures, and expand beyond what we told we are. When this stage, often rooted around age 3, gets shut down, the loss isn't just creativity, it's access to possibility itself. Without it, life can begin to contract. People in recovery talk about how their life got really small. And it's my experience that even in recovery, not using, my life can get really small. Choices feel predetermined, identity feels fixed. The range of who I could be narrows to who I was told I am. For those of us with gaps in this stage, adulthood can carry a subtle but persistent limitation, a difficulty imagining ourselves differently, even when change is needed. Life becomes smaller not because it has to be, but because we've lost access to the inner space where expansion begins, right? So that's the framework that we're working with. Um, so the archetypes that I picked to work with um, are the Empress, which in my Luna Botanica deck is hops, and in the Tarot archetype, the Empress is known as like the quintessential feminine, which is creativity itself, right? The crucible through which life enters, right? The body of um, of a female, and um, and it's also about fertility. It's about like a fertile imagination. And hops in my deck, well, hops are known to be something that helps us, like they make beer, right? And so they're all about adding relaxation. Beer's been used to treat anxiety, right? Until you drink too much and then you have more anxiety. Um, and but hops, if they're not turned into beer and they're just used as a botanical, are soporific, right? They aid sleep, they aid dreaming. So this archetype is about creativity that emerges when we relax into a soft place. Okay. The other archetype I'm working with here is the Seven of Cups, which in the Tarot is about having so many ideas, you know, that we're just imagining all these different options. It's this abundance of imagination, but it can be fantasy or it can be concrete. Either one can be true. Um, and then the hawthorn is for the heart. So hawthorn is placed in teas to help with heart support, and so it helps strengthen the heart. And I think about this relationship between them as having the strength to consider different options, right? To be inner resourced, to be able to be like, maybe not that, but this, right? And then the third archetype is the Ace of Wands, which is about boom, initiation, right? Just wands is fire. It's this like burst of creativity. And the ace is like the first thing, right? And then this is happening in the snow moon, which is the full moon in February. And it's this shooting star is the botanical. The shooting star is coming out of the snow, right? So it's sort of this initiation time. Okay. So the idea being that um, if we're stuck because this part of our development didn't get fully developed, then these are the resources that we're hoping to cultivate, right? So if you want to do the workshop and you have a journal, I'm going to read to you the journal prompts. And this is available for download from my Etsy shop. I uploaded it before I started my live presentation. Everybody's welcome to go download it from there. If you want to message me and get it that way, please feel free to reach out to me. So here are the journal prompts for this workshop. What do I most remember about sharing my dreams or imagination as a child? When, as a child, was I most immersed in a playful world I created of my own? Where in my life now do I most try to force things to go my way? Right? Yeah. When do I feel most naturally open, softened, or surrendered? How does it feel in my body when I think about trying something new or exploring the unknown? What is a dream, plan, or goal that I haven't fully named or shared? How am I protecting that spark? Where does it feel safe to share it or express it? And then I suggest to write down 7 variations on that idea, even if they seem silly or impossible. So that's the framework of the workshop. And now I'm going to show you the ritual part, which, if you've never done a botanical ritual, then this will give you some idea of what it looks like. So we begin by lighting our candle. All rituals that I conduct generally begin with lighting a candle. And I say to myself, I am awake. I am present. So then we want to take our botanical that we've chosen. So for today's ritual, I picked the romantic love um, botanical blend. In it are myrrh, motherwort, wild cherry, wild yam, licorice, sassafras, rose hips, and rose petals. And to me, there's not a big difference between romantic love and the passion of creativity. Like they're very intertwined for me. And where one is present, the other is often present. Mm. So if I'm feeling stuck, if I'm feeling like I want to clamp down around life's possibilities, I can take this blend and place it in my mortar and um, smell it. I want to get my hands in it. I want to release the scent and the potency of all these beautiful botanicals. So then I crush it. And I think about the journal writing that I've been doing and the insights and what did the cards say to me when I was looking at them, what kind of stories am I telling myself about these? What do they evoke to me? What are they trying to tell me today? And I let the smell of the botanicals help me be present with anything that I might be resisting, anything that might be difficult. And then I'm going to take some creek water. And you can use any water, it doesn't have to be creek water. It could be ocean water, could even be tap water. I mean, it's all connected, right? I don't actually think that any water is more sacred than any other water. Water's awesome. You know, I prefer something that's not filled with toxic sludge. That's about the extent of it. So I add water to my botanical. So now this is going to start to make an ink. Mm, love that smell. Roses are one of my favorite smells. I'm going to add some more. And I think about the Empress, the softness of her body, the beauty of the garden she sits in, you know, um, the vibrancy of hawthorn, that like tangy, it's like an apple. It's like this really hard apple that's very small and it's got this like intense tanginess to it, like passion. And the beauty of shooting stars when they punch out of the snow first thing at the end of winter, beginning of spring, that vibrancy. And I want to invite into my life these qualities, right? To break down any resistance I have to imagining who or what I could be next. Now, if I really want to get excited about using this ink, I can also add these natural dyes, which this one is beetroot, which has got this really pretty pink tone to it. And then some rose clay, which gives it a really nice, soft sort of opacity. Right. Now we're going to paint our sigil. So I'm going to be saying a wish or an invocation or a desire or I could even be saying something I don't want, right? It's it's using this moment to fully focus and um maybe I need to let something go or maybe I need to call something in. May I, may I find, may I find the courage to keep going and be my full self, even if I get a Substack tomato thrown right at me. Maybe that's the good thing about being online. There's no rotten vegetables that could be lobbed at me while I perform. Here we go. Oh, oh, you can even smell the roses. I can smell the clay in that rose clay. That's really lovely. Alrighty. And then sometimes I like to use walnut ink as the writing because it's so dark and easy to read to make definitive marks. And now I just write whatever comes to the fore. Um, and tonight I'm writing an affirmation of life itself. I'm saying yay to life. So now your sigil is going to look different, obviously, um, but this one is mine. Um, and uh, you know, doesn't matter how you approach it. It's all about figuring it out as you go, which is all I've been doing tonight. I did do some preparation today, but I just wanted to leave it as open ended as I could for as long as I could. Um, so that's what I have tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. I see Melissa, Dawn, and Celeste. Hi, Celeste. If that's who I think it is, I have a lot to credit her for my being here and offering this creative recovery workshop. I look forward to more time with you all. Oh, thanks, Don. Hi. um, and I'll be coming back in another couple of weeks to. Oh my gosh, it is. Hi, Celeste. So great to see your name on there. I'll be coming back in a couple more weeks for my next recovery workshop. If I pop in again between now and then you'll get a little email saying so. And I hope you're having a gorgeous lunar Beltane and that the full moon gives you a full heart. Thanks for joining me. Good night, everyone.